YouTube, Dark Magician of Team Sorcerers here, and welcome back to What If Wednesday. And I'm finally doing another Yu-Gi-Oh! One, and this one is about tournaments. Now, as you know, I've quit tournaments, and I have no interest in playing in them anymore. Although I'm still thinking about playing in a Genesis tournament. I don't know if I would have done by the time you're seeing this, which should be some point in August. So yeah, I've quit multiple times actually. Twice in 2015, 3 times in 2017, another 3 times in 2019, once in 2020, once in 2021, once in 2022, and then 3 times in 2023. So that's 14 times that I've quit tournaments now, and one of which wasn't because of the meta or the format, and those last few were just from temporary comebacks. But this brings about the question, what if I didn't quit tournaments? What if I just carried on playing in them and just never gave up and just stuck with it? Because before 2015 I was fine just doing it before. I mean, it didn't matter what deck I was playing or whether or not I won or lost the tournament. I was just sort of being more of a happy-go-lucky duelist, just playing in them anyway. But after some bad things happened in 2014, and multiple bad things were happening in 2015, it just piled up, and then this shitty stuff just seeped into Yu-Gi-Oh! And the things that bothered me about Yu-Gi-Oh! Just bothered me more than usual, which led to quitting. Anyway, let's get back to the question. What if I never stopped playing in them? Naturally I would just keep up my competitive fighting spirit against all odds. I mean, I'd still stick with Dark Magician mainly, and occasionally play Elemental Heroes and Rainbow Neos, because I could. Sometimes I'd probably play other decks just for the fun of it and to see what happens. And this would be regardless of whether I'd be playing at Dead Universe Comics, a Tabletop Republic, or the locals in Ramsgate. I mean, naturally I would change and adapt my side deck with every format and just stick with the same decks, because unlike competitive players, I wouldn't change my decks after every format or every new set that brought out some sort of meta archetype. I just basically stick with what I liked, and I'd even go about doing what I'd do before, and that was have a side deck binder. I'd fit in absolutely everything I would put in a side deck, and then before the tournament begins, I'd just throw together something depending on what the others were bringing. Well, it would be more so against decks that I hate, I think. I'd either only side against those or something that I don't necessarily hate, but just generally have a hard time playing against. And that's what I'd roll with. And once Ash Blossom got annoying, I'd actually stop main decking Caught by the Grave, just to specifically counter it, whether it was at 3, 2 or 1. And then after Caught by the Grave went to 1, I would have played Prohibition instead. And I would have stuck with that over Crossout Designator. When did that come out? Was it 2021 where Crossout Designator was first printed? I think it was. I don't know if I'd bother trying to get Triple Tactics Talents. I mean, it's a great card, but when it comes to dealing with hand traps, especially Ash, I'd rather stick with Called by the Grave and Prohibition. Prohibition is such a great handy card. I mean, I could use it on other things, but I'd be mainly using it just to stop Ash Blossom, just so my plays don't get stopped all the time. I mean, sure, back row removal could be used on it, but that's a waste of back row, and it might divert attention away from other back row that I want to keep. Then again, if things like Harpy's Feather Duster or Lightning Storm are being used, then I guess that doesn't matter, but oh well. And naturally, when the pandemic hit and nothing was able to open, I'd been bored out of my mind, with no tournaments to play in. But I'd still find other ways to pass the time. And I guess later on I'd actually set about achieving a lot of goals that I had, including play all my Epic Elite decks throughout various tournaments just to see how I'd do. And even give all my decks a go that I have in real life. And I'd still probably go about trying to defeat certain people in various tournaments. And just hope I get pitted against them. I mean, I don't know whether or not I'd still stick with Edison and GOAT tournaments, although there is a chance I'd probably still stop playing in those. Whether or not I play in the minor league is uncertain. I mean, it might still get to a point where I'd be fed up of the normal tournaments and then give the minor league a go. And then I'd play in those on and off. I mean, there is a chance that Monarch argument might still happen, and then after that I'd return to Dead Universe Comics tournaments and just to play in the tournaments, which would decrease the chances of getting potentially annoyed by the people that annoyed me before when I left in November 2023. Yeah, that's another thought. When Bestials came into the game and Dark Magician became vulnerable, I'd have to do everything I can to run cards that specifically counter them. I mean, I'd probably end up starting to main deck Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, which I believe can stop their effects. The problem is it doesn't negate and destroy, so I'd have to find another way to specifically counter the Bystials. I mean, I suppose, ironically, Cross-Out Designator would be the best counter to them, but that would require me to play Bystials as well, which of course I'm not willing to do, because fuck Bystials. So, yeah, either I'd main or side some anti-Bystial cards, or Burial from a Different Dimension, or Pot of Acquisitiveness, just to get Dark Magician back out of the banished zone, or I'd have to mainly play decks that don't play light or dark decks, or at least have a lack of, throughout the time they were mainly being used. Yeah, maybe along the way I could think up with some funny techie side options against various decks. I don't know. Now things would be a bit awkward when I'd move away, because at first there wouldn't be any local tournaments to go to. I mean, the best bets would be the ones in Ramsgate and the ones in Canterbury, but then I'd need money for travel and entry, which would take up a lot of my money. Yeah, I'd end up going to those whenever I could. I guess that's all I can think of, really. Yeah, that's pretty much what would happen if I never quit tournaments. Yeah, stronger willpower, unbreakable competitive fighting spirit. Yeah, that would do it. I'd even enter winner box tournaments and OTS tournaments and maybe see if I could qualify for that top 8 thing based off how many points people got. So that Weber's 5 would sometimes organise. So yeah, naturally I'd be doing the best I can to get enough points to qualify for that, but regionals and YCSs I still wouldn't do. They'd be just way too competitive for my taste. And yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching.